Makes sense.
Yes, it does. So let's talk about that, because that's one thing that you say a lot. When you say that, does that make sense? You know that you say that a lot?
I do.
So where does that come from?
I don't know. I'd say, understanding me. Do you understand? Like he's something like. Do you understand? Yeah.
So we're gonna have a little.
Andre just asked me a question like that. I can't answer. Oh my gosh! They just blasted me in my face. I'm just trying to figure it out.
That's okay. So we're going to talk about it because you said a lot, and when you listen to this back, because you probably said it about 7 times already, and we've been on the phone for how long? Not long, right?
Mm.
So why? So talk to me about why you asked that question.
One thing I'd say is what I found is when I used to do music, I used to know I'm talented, but I used to question it all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I used to always be like, I would rap a verse or something, and I'd always ask the person, like, what do you think? Like, you think it's good? And I don't want to say it's in a way I'm trying to get approval or anything, because it's not like that. It's just I hope people can understand how, like, where I come from when I wrote it.
Right. So let's play with this a little bit. So again, let's go back to allowing, right? So what if you just allowed anybody? What if you just allowed everybody to get whatever they get? Because what I get may be different from what someone else gets.
Yeah.
Right. And then to trust that if somebody that doesn't understand, they will seek clarity. Will ask you. Right.
Okay.
So think about it, because I'm not the average person. Right. So you don't have to ask me that every 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Well, I just want to be real about it, right? So clearly,
of course.
You don't have to ask me. But and I want you to, just kind of be aware of it, because again, if it's something that you do, then you're doing it with people, even maybe your mentors, even when you get in front of a crowd. You don't want to ask a crowd if they understand every 5 minutes, because they can't answer you anyway, because you're the speaker.
Yeah.
Right? And then when you're performing, you can't stop in the middle of the performance and ask.
Did you understand what I'm saying? You can't do that. It's true.
I just want you to think about it. And I really, really want you to think about, even after this conversation, again, you just said it to me, but really think about where that comes from. Because if it comes from the fear of feel me, I want you to hear these words. If it comes from the fear of not being understood, then think about the law of attraction, right? That's the type of people that you're going to attract, people that don't understand you.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm asking the question, because we have to figure out what the root cause, where it truly comes from. Because if it comes from fear of not being understood, then that's a whole other thing, right?
Yeah.
So we could flip that, because what's the flip side of that? The flip side of it is I understand and I trust that anybody that I'm speaking to, they would understand, and if they don't, they will ask for clarity.
Yeah.
Those are the type of people that I attract, right? Those are the people that I want around me. I don't want to have to ask if you get it every 5 minutes. I don't have time for that.
Yeah. I know what you mean. It's exhausted. Do you know what it is? It's if I be honest with you, Andre, you know what? I've always had this thing, right? Where I used to always want to understand. I would love to know what, but thing is, you'll never get the answer. And I probably think you would probably say that, or you'll get it in time, and you just have to be patient. But it's like when I rap, sometimes I really just feel like I could sit there all day and talk to you about why I can't, like how I just went in, because I don't, I always class myself as different compared to a lot of other rappers out there, and how I do things. So maybe why is our question? Because it is different in terms of what I talk about.
See, for us to be having this conversation is a beautiful thing, right? Because you have to understand what you're saying, right? Because you can only move forward from this. So now what you're saying is, I'm just going to be me. I'm going to let it come from within. As long as it feels good to me and it sounds good to me, that's it, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you're
because
right.
Again, if because everybody's going to take something different away from it anyway.
Yeah.
So we can't ask everybody if they